Hi there. Oh, welcome to my views and news. Thanks for joining the live chat session, viewers. Let me welcome the participants and four news stories for you. Two from Ethiopia, alarming developments in Ethiopia, pointing towards the future. Uh, Drum, first one who commented today. How are you, Drum? He says hi. David Kiflo says hello, Sajid. How are you, David? Nahom Architect says good evening, Sajid. How are you, Nahom? Dark Star says greetings, Sajid. How are you, Dark Star? Super Lobak joined says salam. How are you? I think you were a member, Super Lobik. I saw you in membership section. Am I correct? Nahome Asafa joined too. First member who joined today is Nahome Asafa. How are you, Nahome Asafa? Ethio Mechanic says, I got respect for you. Respect is mutual, brother. Samuel Faleke says, hello, dear Sajid. How are you? I'm fine, Samuel. Tamaskan Dinka says, greetings from Frankfurt. How are you, Tamaskan? Luke Pierre says, hello, Sajid. What news? Uh, I'll speak in detail about today's news stories. Bas Poxosian. New name for me. Bas Poxosian. How are you? Where are you from? David Chipsa Gitchela joined to Caustic Soda says, hello, Sajid. Update us the available information. Okay. Dark Star says, unrealistic question. Do you think TPLF, TDF has the military power to challenge ENDF given ENDF's air's priority and active army? Okay, I'll respond a little later. Of Kaskame says, hi, Indian guy. I'm not Indian. Koitiom Gizai says, greetings. Observers joined to Super Lobak. Yes, he's confirming that he was a member. Angus on photo says, I feel you are talking less about the bad situation in Eritrea. Well, others say you always criticize Eritrea. You are against government, against people. You say you cover less about the plight of people there. What should I do? No, Yogi says this guy should be banned, always spreading propaganda. I am not going to ban you, by the way. Speak, let people decide. I can ban you. You cannot ban me. I can ban you, but I'm not banning you. What I can ban you from using my views and news, but I won't. Warsame Ali says, Sajid, greetings from rainy Somaliland. The Nahom Architects joined too says, I am good, Sajid. What did the comedians in Ethiopian leadership do these days? Gotiam Gizai, David said, we cannot hear you. I think the audio is fine. Isaias Nayakundi says, hello, sir, for tireless job of informing us. You always deeper to inform us. Thank you. He's from Matakal, Benishangal, Gumad region. Muhammad Yusuf joined, says, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Sajid. Four news stories. Firstly, viewers, two news stories from Ethiopia. A UN aid worker killed near Gondar. It's a warlike situation now, it seems, in Amhara region. Secondly, a very strong statement from a human rights organization in Ethiopia. A few days ago, we heard from Human Rights Commission, whose investigators are being harassed in Oromia. Now, another organization is saying that its workers are being harassed, its leaders are being tortured. What happened? Thirdly, it seemed that Somalia would be the casualty of Ruto's visit of the US. Ruto threatened to leave Somalia, giving an interview in the US. What did he say? He's asking US to step in. Uh, and before Ruto left for the US, he met with Hassan Sheikh. Hassan Sheikh on good term with Ruto, but Ruto is the new policeman appointed by US in this region, and I think Somalia could suffer in coming weeks. Its plans about withdrawal of Afghan Union troops will suffer. I think last is Somaliland is building case for hosting Ethiopian military. Few hours ago, Somaliland president tried to justify establishment of Ethiopian naval base in Somaliland, saying that it would be good not just for Somaliland but for entire region, for Western countries too. What did he say? Muni Muni joined after some time. How are you, Muni Muni? I am waiting for your article, Muni Muni. By the way, you were the one who proposed the idea of a website. Now you're nowhere to be seen. By the way, Wali Ali says you need to learn the history of this region. I know a little bit, which is enough for me. I think don't want to go deep. Gerba Letta Mesfin K Caustic Soda says, why do you think Great Somalia is not responding fully to the condemning Puntland and Somaliland if it is legitimate government? It's weak. Simple. Nijar says we need port at any cost. Abdi Farah joined to Michael Ziorech says, Saji, tell us more about your former group Lashkar-e-Taiba. As if you're interested. or you're not. Won the Magagan Emmanuel joined to hope you will cover Kenyan approach towards West non-NATO ally and impact on Ethiopian infantry. Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. I'll make a video on that. Just a few words about the website, then we'll start the live chat. Today, a writer sent an article they published. It's about OLFOLA, very strongly worded article calling OLFOLA an armed group, terrorist group, which has been violating agreements. I publish what I receive. I don't make corrections. I don't make any edits. That is what my job is. Forum is open. Website is open. Anyone can write. You cannot blame me for content there being pro one party. You are ready to counter if you think that one group is dominating the opinion section of news edits. I have an article prepared for tomorrow. One viewer really worked hard for this article. Like the professor wrote a 14-page article, and it was good to read his arguments, context about ethnic identity in Ethiopia. Tomorrow's article is also very crucial, and the viewer in touch with me for years, he really spent some time on writing this article. So please don't blame me if opinion section is dominated by one ethnic group or by people close to one ethnic group. Others can write, I am here to publish, but if they're not writing, then no one can blame me. Let's start, viewers. Now, thank you, Moni. I'm waiting for your article about economy. You promised to write something about economy. Now, firstly, viewers, a UN aid worker has been killed near Gondar city. UN officials have confirmed that in their statements, offering condolences to the family of the killed aid worker. Amhara Gondarfano issued a statement today denying hand in the killing of the aid worker. He was killed. He did not die a natural death. He was killed. Amhara Fano Gondar says that the area where the aid worker was killed is under the control of Ethiopian military. But still, Amhara Fano is ready to cooperate if an investigation is to be conducted by international investigators. I have not seen any statement from Ethiopian government so far. Obviously, government, police, military can tell the details what happened. Who killed the aid worker? Second, showing that Amhara region has turned into a war zone. Though it's a very strong term, I never say there is war in Amhara. I always say there is war-like situation. But the way tensions are escalating, no solution in sight. What should we call this region? Erega Kabede said 2 days ago that 90% of Amhara region under government control. But what we are seeing is that assassinations, target killings, attacks on airports, PP member killed, ENDF soldiers dying, being taken prisoner, students out of schools, universities closed, university chairman Debre Birhan kidnapped, in Gojam, vehicle ban, all around Gondar city, fighting ongoing. So I can go on and on. Thank you, Abdi Karim. Looking forward to your article too. So this is the real situation in the Amhara region, which is not being told by the government people. Another news story is about a human rights organization which issued a statement last night. There is Ethiopian Human Rights Commission in Ethiopia, and there is Ethiopian Human Rights Council as well. I think the two are different organizations. Both are main human rights organizations in Ethiopia. Human Rights Commission is led by Daniel Bakel. If you remember, a few days ago, Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia issued a statement saying that its investigators are being harassed in Mekki town of Oromia, where they were conducting an inquiry into the death of Batir Gasa. They were harassed. They had to suspend their inquiry. Then last night, statement came from Ethiopian Human Rights Council. The council says that its people, its workers, its leaders are being harassed, tortured. Their houses being raided. Their laptops, their devices are being captured by people in civilian clothes, which are who are mostly members of intelligence agencies. The council has shared details of how its workers are being harassed in Addis Ababa, in Bahirda. Incident happened last month, in March last year. We know that opposition is not allowed to work in Ethiopia. Opposition media not allowed to operate. Only organizations which can uncover the excesses of security forces and which can criticize the government are these two human rights organizations. Human Rights Council and Human Rights Commission both are complaining they are facing difficult times. Testing times, they are using the term for them. They're asking international community to support them. We have seen statements from some Western organizations, Western officials in support of Human Rights Council, Human Rights Commission. But if the two organizations are not able to work freely, they're not able to hold government accountable for what government is doing, it means there'll be no one credible organization in Ethiopia which can publish a report while being in Ethiopia, report critical of Ethiopian government. That's why the two organizations are calling for international support. By the way, I have a question for those people who support the government, who support Prime Minister. They accuse me of being pro opposition, anti PM. Are they satisfied the way Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Prosperity Party are expanding their control on each and every institution and due rights of institutions, parties are being violated? Do you think this is the right approach? I don't know about this video, you Mexican. Dark Star is asking about TPLF and TDF's capabilities to counter, to fight ENDF. Question is TDF or TPLF interested in waging war or not? At this point, they are not, by the way. I don't think they don't want to wage war. No, they want fight between Amhara and government to continue. Why should they involve in this fight while they know that those who attack them are fighting among themselves? So they would ideally like to be at a distance. No, Moni, my point is not about fun or la. My point is about the overall situation. My point is about uh, politics, about democracy, about media, about judiciary, about transparency, about accountability, about respect for fundamental rights. I mean, do you think that on all these issues, the government's direction is right? Don't you think that the government's direction is not right? I have this instinctive feeling, I would say, that maybe Abiy idealizes Sisas. He cannot say it publicly, but he would like to control each and every institution in Ethiopia. Gradually, we're seeing that he is controlling everything. Average Dom says what wartime rules of engagement are a little harsh sometimes. Don't fault them. Yeah, I agree. You're right that wartime rules are, but it's not that in entire Ethiopia there's warlike situation. I mean, he can do a lot if he want. Compare today's Abiy and Abiy of 2018. What did he promise in 2018? Wasn't that year of reconciliation? Everyone had hope that things would get better. Even politicians had hopes too. Political parties had hopes too. So that hope is missing now. Moni is making a point, which I also raised, that if Abiy, if no Abiy, then what? I agree. I am not talking about removal of Abiy. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that those who support the government, they should analyze government's performance neutrally. When it comes to removal of Abiy, I always say that Abiy is getting stronger because opposition is getting weaker. Opposition politicians still restricted to their ethnic zones. They're not able to form a joint front. Abiy is taking advantage of this split. There is no one man in opposition who is well respected in Amhara, Tigray, Oromia, Afar, Somalia. Opposition needs this one father figure who believes in being an Ethiopian. The father figure who can unite opposition. Who will this father figure be? Selfless man. Opposition is in need of that man. Politicians from one region seen as biased or supportive of the region from where they are or the group from which they are, obviously they are not acceptable to all Ethiopians. Parabdi says, Sajid, do you know Ethiopia is a failed state? Well, the next news story, The next news story is about Kenya, which is painting Somalia as a failed state sitting in Washington. Did not say a word about Ethiopia. I'll come to that after a few moments. No, Yamaskan, I don't know about that. Thank you, Amiha. Average Dom says Mooney Mooney is the only viewer with sight. The rest of your viewers are totally blind. No, he's just raising some points which I'm trying to address. And this is a very valid point that if Abiy is removed, what is next? Uh, it's a very thought provoking question. I also covered that, if you remember, in some videos in the past. And this is one of the justifications which is used by government supporters, that people want to remove Abiy. What is next after Abiy? So this question should be addressed. I think we should have one live chat session a week without any agenda, with just uh, comments, just like we are discussing now about future, about Abiy, about removal of Abiy, about post Abiy scenario, because it makes us think. Thirdly, viewers, Somalia. I think Somalia is going to be the casualty of Ruto's visit of the US. Ruto threatened to withdraw his troops from Somalia in an interview, I think 24 hours ago in the US. He said that Kenyan troops are in Somalia, part of African Union force for peace and stability there. And if African Union troops leave Somalia, which is expected to happen by the end of this year, that all troops will leave, Kenya will withdraw its troops from Somalia. And after that, he said, after that, terrorists will take over. So he is saying, Ruto, sitting in Kenya, that Ethiopia is a failed state. Did not use the term failed state, but what does he mean? I mean, when he says that if all troops, African Union troops, leave Somalia, Al Shabaab will take over. He's saying that that Somalia is a failed state. Farah, this part of live chat is for you. You criticize Ethiopia. Sometimes you exaggerate, but let's analyze things neutrally. So Ruto is asking US to intervene. Ruto does not want African Union troops to leave Somalia. Why? Because Kenya shares border with Somalia. Ethiopia shares border with Somalia. If African Union troops leave, maybe Al Shabaab will take over. It might not take over, but it will have more power to move towards Kenya, move towards Ethiopia. So both are concerned, Kenya and Ethiopia. Kenyan concerns will be heard in Washington. That is what I'm saying, that Somalia will be casualty of this visit. Somalia won't be able now to force the withdrawal of African Union troops from its territory by the end of this year, I think. US will try either to extend the mandate. Uh, Thank you, Maskan, for renewing your membership. So US will either try to have the African Union troops mandate extended, or it would like some other arrangement ensuring that Somalia still has African Union troops, other troops after 2024 on its soil. I think that Somalia knows its deficiencies, but it wants to sign bilateral agreements. It wants to have troops of those countries which Somalia sees as its allies, as its strategic allies. Maybe Somalia wants Egypt to come. I'm not sure about Eritrea, but I think Somalia wants Egypt to come here. Uh, will this bilateral arrangement between Somalia and Egypt, Somalia and Eritrea, be accepted by Kenya, by US? That we'll see. But so far, Kenya has made its point very clear. It is opposing the withdrawal of Afghan Union troops from Somalia. Will Somalia speak now? Will it issue a statement? Because Ruto's interview, you can watch that. He's clearly saying that Al Shabaab will take over. Somalia is silent now. Abdi Farah, what you are saying should be said by Somalia's government. Uh, Somali elite is based in Nairobi. Everyone knows that. But question is, what is the capability of Somalia's forces? Can they take over? This is the question. Lastly, viewers, last news story, then we'll end the live chat. Somaliland is building another case for hosting Ethiopian military. MOU signed, we know, at the start of this year, still an MOU. So I think progress has been made, agreement is being drafted, it will be put to vote maybe in coming weeks in Somaliland's parliament. A British MP confirmed that a British law firm has been involved. It has been hired by Somaliland to draft the agreement. Technical committee has submitted its recommendations to Musawi Abdi's government. Musawi Abdi is raising another point to uh, convince international powers that the MOU should be implemented. Slashi, I think, is gone. I don't know about Lencho or Lata. Not Lencho Lata. I think it's Lencho Bati, I think. Uh, Somaliland says that if Ethiopia builds a naval base in Somaliland, if Ethiopian naval forces are deployed in Somaliland, it will stabilize the region. It will be a countermeasure to de-escalate the situation. It will help Western countries in creating stability in the Red Sea. Western countries want to create Red Sea stability because they want to ensure uh, safety of navigation. They want their commercial ships to pass through the Jordan safely. They want to ensure that no missiles, drones are not fired by Houthis from Yemen. Somaliland now says that Ethiopian troops, Ethiopian naval forces can help a lot in this issue. If they are there patrolling the coast there, they can counter attacks from Yemen, and they can help international forces in restoring stability and safety for navigation in the Red Sea. It's a very interesting point raised by Somaliland. Somaliland is trying to prove from all angles that this MOU is beneficial not just for Somaliland, but for the region, for the entire world. But Ethiopia remains silent. I have not seen any major statement from Ethiopia in the last few months about the MOU. Only a few formal statements that yes, we signed the MOU and we are committed. Though Ethiopia is making some moves in terms of appointment of an ambassador plenipotentiary to Somaliland. Ethiopia has elevated its consulate to the level of embassy in Hargeisa. But when it comes to drafting the agreement, when it comes to agreement being put to vote, Ethiopia is silent. Whatever is coming about the agreement about MOU is coming from one side, and that is Somaliland. Please don't use any objectionable, hateful words against each other. When we use one word for an entire ethnic group, for an entire region, that shows how immature we are. This type of generalization always leads to prejudice and bias. When we say that the Pakistanis are like this, Indians like that, Muslims like this, Jews like that, Tigrayans like this, Romans like that, I think this type of generalization always leads to prejudice and bias. There are all types of people in each and every nation, country, religion, ethnic group. Liberty Media says, to be fair, Ethiopia owes its groups a commitment to democratic multiculturalism. Removing Abiy could result in more war, not less. Well, EPRDF was removed too. It was a public resistance movement. It wasn't an armed resistance movement. People took to the streets, and it became, I think, impossible for EPRDF to continue. Uh, so, when we say removal, it does not mean removal by force, removal by. And we're not talking about removal. We're only saying that at least, opposition should unite. If we are blaming Abiy for all the ills in Ethiopia, believe me, we should blame the opposition as well. Opposition, not equally, but it is also responsible. Opposition failed to do anything. Opposition politicians fled the country, issuing statements from abroad. Iddito, Jawar, Bakalagar said goodbye to politics. In Ethiopia, there is no genuine opposition. So, who is to blame? We cannot blame just Abiy. Those who are blaming Abiy, what are they doing? Anything done by them so far, which we could say is, which we could say amounts to posing a challenge or standing up to Abiy. One man spoke, and that was Tae Dandia, thrown in prison. He wasn't scared. He said that Abiy, you made a mistake. You waged wars. You killed people. He was not scared. He was ready to be put in prison. He's there. No one there to raise voice for him. His immunity revoked, and no one speaking from Tigray for Tagandia. No one from Amhara speaking in support of Tagandia. He's alone. So problem is that joint opposition front against Abiy is missing. This is the main issue, I think. Please don't use any hateful words, Damascus or others. What I like about my views and news is that people here are from all sides, from all ethnic groups, from all countries, from all viewpoints. That is the beauty of this platform. And most of the time, we are very restrained when we talk about each other. We don't use hateful language. Be careful. By the way, I would request you to write something about the path to change in Ethiopia. You can write that for News Addis because this topic should be explored, I think. What should happen in Ethiopia, in Eritrea too, in Somalia as well? So what are your views? What is lacking? Who is responsible? How much is government responsible? How much responsibility lies with the opposition? Let's start some articles. I'll try to share my input too, though I am just a moderator there. With 37 minutes have passed, I think we should end the live chat session. Someone is saying, what is your ethnicity? I don't know. I don't know what ethnicity is, by the way. Even when it comes to my religion, I say I'm a Muslim. But there are different disciplines in Islam too, different sects. But I don't like to introduce myself as a Sunni or the Rood or Shia. I think that's not good. Just a Muslim, just a Pakistani. Damascus problem is that the others see this word as a hateful word. So we should not use this word, I think. Abe Kareo says Abiy is democratically elected leader. Well, you know how 2020 election was held. 2021 election was held rather. You know, all political opposition was in prison. Jawar in prison, Daudibs under house arrest, Baklegarba in prison, TPLF declared a terrorist party. So Abiy ran unopposed. And after the election, he released the opposition politicians. That is how Abiy was elected. I know I am not new. I covered that election and I saw it very closely that it wasn't an election like elections should be held. It was a typical election like elections are held in Africa. You saw in Chad that Muhammad Dabi has been elected the president. In Djibouti, you see how elections are held. Kenya is a better model. Maybe Somaliland too. November election would be interesting. Agonafir news was about the death of a UN aid worker killed near Gondar. Secondly, we talked about Human Rights Council of Ethiopia statement, and they're being harassed, they're not being allowed to vote. Ayalio, I wouldn't recommend you to become a member from Ethiopia. Why? Because you'll have to use, you will enter your credit to uh, some cyber, some vulnerabilities to your bank account. That's why don't be a member if you are in Ethiopia. Don't use proxy. I wouldn't advise that. Thank you, viewers. I think we should end the live chat session. It was good to be today's live chat. A part of live chat, viewers. We discussed about problems faced by people. We talked about Abi, post Abi scenario. It was good to exchange views. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, and new article on News Addis tomorrow by a viewer, and he just went deep into Ethiopian desire for the access to sea. He tried to build a case. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.